Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all learn this truth from and who do well. Peace and salutation to the 144,000. The rest of the elect, unto you I say shalom. Coming to you back with another Let's Do Spirit. Now I'm entitled this one, The Wicked Are Being Preserved for Judgment. And who are the wicked? Not just the so-called white man, the wicked elite, the Rothschild, the Rockefellers, but along with the wicked, the 2/3 of the nation of Israel that comprise of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Because we see all the wickedness that goes on around the planet Earth, especially being done by our people, because of how low they've fallen, and including us. We at one time point in period, we were in that same state, and that state completely void of understanding of who we are and what we're supposed to do. Ultimately repent and turn back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But majority of our people, they're not going to do that. They're going to continue to do wickedness till they get destroyed, because we see all the wickedness that our people do. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the true Israelites. Because ultimately the only ones who can sin are those who've been given the laws, statutes, and commandments, which are the Israelites. Because ultimately all these wicked ass heathens, these so-called white people, these Edomites and these other nations, they're going off, but they're not sinning in the sense that they're breaking the law, because they weren't given the law. And that's why Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to come down very hard on our people, because our people are held to his standard, and that standard is being broken every single day. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is just really preserving all these wicked ass people for judgment, because we see that they're prospering, they're thriving, they don't really seem like they're getting judged, but yet here you have brothers in the truth that are serving Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that are going through hell, catching infirmities and ailments, all sorts of hell that brothers go through. But yet we see these people, like they're not going through nothing, but Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is allowing them to so-called enjoy this last bit of peace, because all hell is about to break loose. If Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is allowing brothers to catch hell, Satan fucking with their minds, how much more these people? Because these people, they're not going to get away. They're not going to get away scot-free. This is Job chapter 21 and verse 29. Have ye not asked them that go by the way? And do ye not know their tokens? Verse 30. That the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. They shall be brought forward to the day of wrath. So you see these 2/3 thriving, these wicked elite bankers and all these heathens, thriving, chilling. Even though they're starting to catch hell, the curses are starting to be put on them, but they're still in that mindset that, oh shit, I'm doing wickedness. I haven't got judged. I'm still eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. I'm still committing adultery. I'm still worshiping JC and Buddha and the law, and nothing has happened to me. So that's why Jake continues to go to hell law, because they haven't been judged yet. But what they don't know is that Yahweh Bashem is preserving them, reserving them, a lot of them to take that MOTB so they could get those missiles. A lot of them are being preserved for famine, all these different pestilences, plagues. A lot of them are getting reserved for those detention centers. So Esau, Edom can torture them. But that's what these wicked of our people, and the wicked of these heathens have coming. This is Psalms 37 and verse 1. It says, a psalm of David. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. So we can't be envious of all the wickedness that these people do, because we see them thriving, having these jobs, these executive, corporate, white-collar jobs. But we can't be envious of that, because ultimately we know what their end is. we know what the end of the wicked of our people, the 2/3, and the wicked of these heathen, especially these so-called white people, these Edomites, is, which is ultimately destruction, thermonuclear destruction, the lake of fire. Verse 2, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as a green herb. Jump down to verse 7, rest in the Lord, Yahweh Bashem El Shai, and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospered in his way. And the only way you can really prosper in this society in Babylon, the great America, is by doing wickedness. Here you may need some extra money, to make ends meet, but doing a righteous thing, hustling, selling some food or selling lotions, oils, that may bring you some extra money, but to really thrive and make a bank, you gotta do wickedness. You gotta sell drugs to your own people and be a wizard, a warlock. Eve, she don't want to work, so what does she do? She sells her body. All these forms of wicked things you got to do to thrive in this society, especially our people. To be celebrities, to be professional ball players. What do they have to do? They got to sign that contract under Amalek, and if they break that contract, then the so-called white man is going to off them. So you got to do all this wickedness. You got to bend down for Diddy, and we see Kanye. He talks against the narrative, then they cancel him. But that's what you got to do to thrive in this society. And ultimately, we know what the end of these wicked ass people are. It's going to be thermonuclear destruction. It says, because of the man who bringeth wickedness devices to pass. And who's the main wicked? The wicked. The third part of man, the Edomites, the so-called white people. Everybody, for the most part, majority of the world is following after the vibration of Esau, Edom, the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. That's why the whole world is bugging out, because just like the so-called white man, Esau, Edom's kingdom is collapsing, and he's bugging the hell out. The rest of these people are bugging the hell out too. Verse 8, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. So we see all these wicked people, wicked jakes walking around, committing adultery, doing all sorts of abominable things. We see Moses walking around, and the law says you're supposed to put him to death, but we can't. We gotta wait on Yahweh Bashem El Shai, because Yahweh Bashem El Shai is the one who's gonna judge these wicked ass people that seem like they're getting away with everything they're doing, but they're not. Yahweh Bashem El Shai just allowed them to rack up that tab more and more and more. Verse 9, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. And that's the elect. The elect are going to inherit the earth. They're going to inherit everlasting life on the first go around, because majority of our people, they're not going to make it. They're going to continue doing wickedness. They're going to take the MOTB. They're going to bow down to this system, because they're so used to America, Babylon the Great. They're so used to this life, they don't know anything else. So for them to repent and turn back to Yahweh Bashem El Shai, that's a new thing. That's an alien thing to do. So they're not going to do it. Majority of our people, they're not going to repent to Yahweh Bashem El Shai. This is Ecclesiastes, verse 8 and chapter 8 and verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of man is fully set in them to do evil. And that's why these wicked ass people in the world continue to go to hell off, especially our people. Black culture, doing drive-bys, smoking weed, popping pills and sipping lean, and all sort of forms of madness, adultery, worshiping all these idols and gods. So their mindset is, okay, damn, I haven't been judged yet, because the majority of our people, they know they're Israelites. They know the truth. They know that who they ignorantly call JC is a so-called black man. But what do? They continue to go to hell off. They continue following after these different gods. They continue to trust in Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, in his system. So they're like, man, I haven't been judged yet. So, God must be with me. JC must be with me if I continue to go the hell off and haven't been judged yet. Verse 12, though a sinner do evil 100 times and his days be prolonged. Yeah, and we see it, every single day. We see all these wicked ass jakes living long lives, but he had brothers, that have passed on in the truth. They got infirmities, thorn in the flesh. But that's ultimately Yahweh Bashim Yahushai chastising his sons, chastising his elect. Because these wicked jakes catch hell, but really, they're not really suffering like that. Yeah, they're under the curses, but they do all these forms of wicked, abominable things to cope with the curses. Yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which fear before him. So the elect, they're going to be preserved in that day when that judgment comes. It's going to be made evident who the wicked are and who are the chosen, who are the elect of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Because the elect, they're going to be preserved for deliverance. And then you're going to have the wicked of our people, the 2/3, and the rest of these heathens who are going to be preserved for destruction. This is 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. And that's really why majority of these people are still roaming free. It may seem like, they just keep getting away with whatever they're doing. They come against the man of the Lord, talking shit, scoffing and mocking. But really, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, he's not just gonna kill these people right now. No, a lot of them, they're being preserved for Jacob's trouble. They're being preserved for famine, the sword, pestilences, and really a lot of them, they're getting preserved to take the MOTB so they can get hit by a missile. This is Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And the elect, they're reaping, deliverance. They're reaping righteousness. They're reaping, the benefits of being kept in the evil times we're about to come in. While our people, the wicked of our people, the 2/3, and the rest of these heathens, these wicked ass Edomites, they're reaping destruction. They're reaping, getting put to death. They're reaping, dying of starvation. They're reaping getting sent into these, detention centers and, getting put to death, being tortured. And a lot of them, they're reaping those missiles. So that's what these wicked ass 2/3 jakes, these Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and these wicked ass heathens, these so-called white people, so-called Chinese, that's what they're reaping. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is just preserving them, because it may seem like they're getting away, like they keep thriving, and, like it says in Psalm 73, they're not in trouble like other men. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is about to reverse the roles. He's about to raise that standard on the elect, and then he's gonna make evident who the wicked are, who did all this wickedness and seemed like they got away with it, but really Yahweh Bashim Yahushai just reserving them. But that's pretty much the point. Pray this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all learned this truth from him who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Unto you I say Shalom.